Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
And we're Autosave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Haikyuu Season 4, Episode 7. Last episode, we left off with Kageyama telling Nishinoya to get out of the way, to move. Right?
Yeah.
And...
well, he said, you're in the way.
yeah. And he was blocking Asahi's, run-up, you know? And... it's a little shocking to everybody because it was a great save by Nishinoya. Everyone was like, oh my god, amazing,
good job.
Great job. And unfortunately, Nishinoya was feeling that himself on his face. I think that's what kept him
was like,
still.
Yeah, that was awesome, you know? He definitely likes to celebrate when he does a good job.
Yeah. And I think that is what the issue was. I wonder how that's going to present itself to us in form of Kageyama. Kageyama, this is growth for him, right? He's able
to speak up.
Yeah. Is it something that he does it tie into the whole goody two shoes thing? Or...
I think definitely. I think normally he would have just been like, okay, Nishinoya is celebrating, he's over there in the court, and I'm just gonna work around it.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're doing, and I don't want to, step on their toes or be too in control, to the point of being a tyrant king. So I think that there's a balance he needs to strike, where he needs to realize that he can hold a position on the court where he can be the basically pinnacle point for strategy and for kind of balance and control.
Yeah. Do you think that this is something that he would have noticed or internally thought before the camp that he went to? Or is this based off of improvements and seeing how better players move?
I like the idea of him seeing how better players move. But I also feel like he might have thought things like this, but never said them.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to, critique other people. But you're staying in the same place too long or something. I'm not sure.
Kageyama was also playing other positions at the camp. So it could have been just, a different perspective.
Yeah.
You know? But I am excited to watch the game continue, you know?
I feel like Libero, to begin with, especially Hinata learned, you're light on your feet to be able to receive the ball. You're quick, you're ready, and you also have to have such kind of a control over your body and where you're putting your strength and where you're being light on your feet. And I think Kageyama was also learning about other positions, like you said. And here he's probably yes, you did a quick, light movement to get there, but now you're just, you know?
Yeah.
Just in one place on the court. You got to stay ready. You got to be ready at all times. You got to make sure you're not in the way.
I am hopeful that we'll see a nice jump from Hinata at some point during this game. I'm hoping that he can jump over the wall. You know?
That's what I hope is going to be the point to end game, is not to get around the wall, but to get over the wall.
You ready?
Yeah.
Sweet.
So we're going to watch that whole play again, I'm
excited.
guessing.
I'm here for it.
It's because he did Rolling Thunder that he, celebrates. So...
that could have been given to Asahi, right?
So we were right.
Great
You
awareness.
gotta move with awareness. So cute!
I love this show so much.
So much growth. I think he genuinely is asking that question.
Yeah.
普段の西野屋にならともかくプレイ中の西野屋に文句言うやつ
なんだろう もよりちょっと怖いな。
I think it is trying to find that balance between the king and nothing, you know, trying to be a competent player but aware of everybody's emotions as well as like directing them.
Mm-hmm. And like I think he genuinely, when he said like how, to him the blunt approach was the right approach because that's how he is as his personality. He's
Blunt.
pretty honest.
Yeah.
He doesn't sugarcoat things. He doesn't really know how to. And I think he was genuinely asking Tanaka there.
I agree.
How should I have said it differently?
Oof.
Nice. It was good.
It wasn't perfect.
ちゃんと決まったじゃん。言いたいことあるなら言えば。ないように言われたら喧嘩になるくせに。言うか。言語化できると思ったら大間違いだぞ。言い方がムカつくのとかいつもだけど。
Tone.
言わないのはなんか変だ。
God, I'm relating so much to Kageyama here.
こいつ、ほんと近すぎず遠すぎないトス。
I love that shot of him just slowly falling.
Yeah. Nice try.
It's like we're watching a live match. Like, okay, nice try. Good job. Nice kill. What?
Okay.
Is that allowed?
Sure. I love that they have a cheering
That's
section
so
at a practice
supportive and cute. Aww.
Treat it like a real game.
楽しそうで何より。
Don't let this break you, Asahi. I know it. I know it did in the past.
今のは二度飛びできただろ。何をイライラしてんのさ。
Oh, that's scary.
王様はご機嫌斜めです。
Oh, God.
タイム取りますか。
Did you see his face? They need to get over this.
Kojukai, like, knows something.
I think he's waiting for it to be worked out in action. Sometimes you just have to let people work it out on their own instead of like taking them out of it and telling them to work it out. Okay, that was the worst one. What was that?
That was like really. I heard tone in that. Like
That was a good toss. Then make the point. Like what?
Oh no.
俺はいいトス上げてます。もっと決めてください。久々に王様節じゃない？もっと早く。
Suki, is that really necessary?
Lord of the Rings.
Oh my god. Oh, everything's shaking a little.
前から思ってたけど、王様ってなんでダメなの？横暴だからだっけ？自己中だから？納得しなかったら俺は言うこと。言い方がムカついたら聞かない。左に同じ。仲間への礼儀に厳しいだけで。まあな。
俺は優しく言ってもらいたくはある。
お前が王様かどうかはあんまり関係ない。つうか、王様って普通にかっけえじゃんかよ。
以上に最高のトスはない。コミュニケーションで探っていくもの。喧嘩しないってことじゃねえと思うぞ。
お利口さんよな。
すまん影山。タイミングずらして打つの試してみてんだけど、まだうまくいかなくてさ。でもトスはいい感じ。
Communication of what he was trying to do.
キワキワコース狙いはやめない。ムカついても我慢しろ。
Communication.
によります。ちょっと。
God, Hinata.
人に言われてやるもんじゃねえしな。言いたいこと言うようになったとして、その逆はどうだろう。実力の飛び抜けた影山は方がわからんかもしらんし。
Hone that communication with honesty.
比べると少ないね。
I didn't know how detailed her notes were.
こいつ。合わせねえからな。あ、そう。結構ですけど。さっきのも特別変なこと言ってるわけじゃないだろう。詳しい事情知らないけど、自分は間違っている可能性があるって分かってる。
The jump.
今までの影山はスパイカーの癖にさえ合わせて
Oh, I
To
love it.
accommodate their bad habits and their comfort zones. Force them to hit higher.
Woo!
That's what it meant to be a goody two shoes. Not pushing them to do better than they already are.
That was awesome.
Say thank you.
Oh,
Oh, love it.
trying to look like him? Making a crown. Making a crown. Goody two shoes.
Stop!
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Intro.
The throne from the intro. He's smiling.
切れたな。
他人の気持ちとかよくわかんねえし、言葉選びも間違うみたいです。
お前はずっとそうだろ。
Oh. Oh. I can't take it.
選手の状態を把握するんだ。
I never want this episode to end.
I know. I just want to see that smile on Kageyama's face all of the time.
Did you notice that they're doing practice sets until 5, like in the
I
finale?
didn't.
I feel like Hinata's not played at all this episode.
It's cute that he stopped saying his name because he realized they might not know his name.
It's so cute.
I think he was talking about you. Yeah.
田中さん、打ち方雑になってます。疲れたんなら交代するという手があります。わかるよ。でもね。俺はちなみに今の力任せに。
田中もバテバテってわけじゃないし、この限られた状況の中でどうするのか。
じゃあ本数減らして様子見ますね。そういうのさりげなくやってくれるの嬉しいかな。やってみます。
There's so much growth.
Oh, so cute.
いい甘やかすな。
こっちがフォローするとこです。
あ、いやごめん。取られてんの面白いな。
They're all pushing each other to their greatest heights, and I'm here for it.
Of course you would notice.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, no. No.
I was like, this is your chance. I think I'm getting more and more into the art style.
Me too.
手が育ってきたらいよいよ手がつけられねえかもな。
Uh-oh.
Oh, if that made it in.
I wonder if, because of Iona's height, he'd get like a better angle. Okay, that was season 4, episode 7. of Haikyuu. That was good. That was really good.
I felt emotional. I appreciated when Hinata was used in this episode. Like, obviously we're used to Hinata being the literal focus basically every episode. Obviously until this season. This season it's kind of been like, let's kind of focus on Kageyama almost an equal amount, which is nice. But I like that they're using Hinata's kind of connection with Kageyama to help everyone better understand Kageyama and to kind of diffuse any of the miscommunication or tension that might be there.
He's a translator.
He is basically a Kageyama translator. He understands Kageyama. He obviously pays attention to what Kageyama does on the court, especially more so now that he's like really into paying attention. So it's just really sweet to use the person that we've mainly been focusing on to be the one to help us and the other characters better understand someone else.
Well, it's like the perfect mix because you wonder if that wouldn't have been the case unless Hinata had his training arc this season. Like, sure, he knows Kageyama very well, but that paired with his new ability to understand the game of volleyball and everybody and what they should be doing, like, makes it for the perfect translator, right? Like, he was like, Kageyama could have had a better set there.
I think the perfect word for basically just to sum up the theme of both what Hinata has learned and what he used here and what Kageyama is learning is awareness.
Yeah.
Like, Hinata has now become more aware of people that do something different than him on the court. And then Kageyama is becoming more aware, I guess, of how he communicates with people and what he's doing to create certain situations on the court with people.
There was like a really good line in addressing the fact that Kageyama has been playing to cover everybody's weaknesses. And I thought that was great because, like, it's not downplaying, it's not like going at the other people as much and saying that he's like playing worse himself. It's just like, instead of like, he's doing what he thinks will benefit the situation best at the moment rather than trying to get the best out of them.
And they phrased it in the episode as not only covering their weaknesses, but they also phrased it as he's basically enabling their bad habits.
Yes, and amazing.
Which you can see how that would, in one way you phrase it, sound really good. And then in another way you phrase it, realize that it just creates like a stagnant environment where no one is getting better.
Yeah. And getting better, right? Like, in my personal view, like, the best way to improve in anything, like in any relationship or any game or sport, is like, oh my god, honesty. Like, if you can be honest to the degree of like pointing out everywhere that you yourself fall short, and you have that in a relationship with somebody, friendship with somebody, or teammate, and they do the same back to you, it will breed the best result possible. Like, you're going to have such a great foundation for a relationship. You're going to be able to call each other out and better each other when they are getting sloppy, for the term that they used in this episode, because you'll be used to that honesty and that level of like sincerity.
But they added like a more complicated level to that honesty, which is realistic, with Asahi being like, I'd rather you tell me, but Tanaka being like, I'd rather you don't tell me that you're not going to be setting to me as much. And like, that's interesting. Like, people setting their boundaries, they're setting kind of, hey, for my emotional and mental health during the game and my morale, my anxiety would take over. I'd be like, why isn't he setting to me? You know? So I would like it communicated to me. And so that adds like complication, because 100% honesty is not always the best for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, 100% honesty is the best, but sometimes just you don't have to say it. You don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
Or you do have to say things sometimes. Just if you're going to say something, it be honest.
Yeah. God, I don't know why this is the first time I think I've ever related to Kageyama to this degree. Like, I'm thinking about like sports that I play or like games that I play. And I'm like, holy shit, like that's so right. Like I've had moments where like I felt like the king of the court, like IGL in like a game, and like I was like, god damn it, like that's not a good thing. Like we can just all like hang out and vibe. But I think that there is like the balance that you can like hang out with people but still give direction and good, like everybody can, you know. And
I think like learning to have healthy communication and healthy acceptance of critiques in any form, whether it's in a sport, like on the court, in a sport, in the classroom, in relationships, anywhere. If you can learn to be able to handle honesty or critiques or being able to actually communicate how you feel or listen to someone else communicate how they feel, if you can learn that, then you are just steps ahead in terms of being a healthy, happy person.
You're setting yourself up for victory.
Victory in all areas of your life, honestly.
Like honestly, like the best thing about this episode was the character writing. Like you pointed it out and I noticed it, and like Hinata changing how he is referring to someone else because his situational awareness knows that like the other people around him don't know that person's name, so then he changes it up to their setter. Like it's such like detailed character writing like throughout the entirety of this episode, like how how Asahi wants it to be like handled different for him versus other people. Like it was such a highlight. You
bringing up the Koganagawa thing is perfect because the awareness is, if you're talking to people and you said, Koganagawa did this, their mind would purely just be thinking, who's that? Instead of listening to the rest of what you're saying.
And the point of it.
And then they'd be like, oh, that's the setter? And it'd be a longer conversation. And there'd be confusion. They might not pick up on what you're saying in the end because they're so stuck on, oh, wait, who's Koganagawa on the court? I don't know.
It was a great episode. You said something about the art this episode too. There was a really, really, really awesome shot of when Kageyama is like being the king. I know my tosses are so good, like, so please score more often. I just like I'm a really big fan of like thick black lines and like the sketchiness, but it looks so good. It looks hand drawn. It like really does. It brought me back to, obviously, our first kind of interactions with Kageyama when we first started the show. And it was really awesome to have that come back, because someone doesn't just change silently and not have an arc, like have us be able to see them change. He wouldn't just change from being the king and have no working through that we would see and or reverting back. Like, it had to happen, and I'm glad that it happened, that he had to face it again, because it's kind of just been skirted on throughout 4 seasons now, where people refer to him as that, and he just kind of gets grumpy, but he's not doing anything kingly. You're so right. Because I'm trying to, even in my head, compare it to other forms of media, but I'm having trouble like finding a perfect comparison. But through you don't just hang up your fault and then if you're, I'm thinking of a very specific example that I don't want to say because of a spoiler for you, but if you're a bad guy and you're a bad guy for this reason, but you become a good guy, great, you're a good guy now, but it's very two-dimensional. What makes that writing great is if that good guy becomes an even greater guy by realizing his past fault and using it to produce a positive result. Kageyama, the whole king thing, if this series ended with him just being like, oh, I'm not the king of the court anymore, and it never being addressed again,
Yeah.
it would have felt cheap.
It was like, it's basically like he was just trying to not confront it and trying to not think of it and trying to just deny it and or be defensive or upset whenever it was brought up.
Or just think of it as only a bad thing.
Or just think of it as only a bad thing. And it's kind of like it was like he was walking down the street and he saw like something that he thought was poop and he walked around it and it turns out it wasn't necessarily poop. It was maybe like $1 million. I don't know.
Yeah. Honestly, one of my favorite episodes of the season. I thought that they did use Hinata really well this episode. It was sparingly, but really well. Oh my god, Kyoko apparently takes like the most in-depth notes in the world because she realized like tosses were different.
I know. I love that it's like she didn't say it first when normally I would think she would be the person that would point out stuff like that, or like Coach Ukai or something. But for Hinata to be the first one that said, oh, and Suga being like talking about how someone has like grown, and he's like, yeah, Kageyama this, Kageyama that, and like Suki, yeah, and Suga's like, no, I meant you. I was like,
it's very easy to draw a comparison to a proud parent, but it makes it better that it isn't, and it's actually an upperclassman because they're seeing the growth of their underclassmen like in real time, and it's so cool. The whole like crowning the king moment, right? I love it. I didn't even realize there was a dog on that towel until it happened.
it's so cute.
And the transition of like
It has to be Hinata's towel. He would be the one with having like a puppy on it. He totally would.
If they're like the transition between like the court that they're on to Kageyama in his jersey, like with like the dump in the background.
Trash.
It's so good, dude.
Oh, and his smile afterwards is the best thing ever.
I love it. It's amazing.
But yeah, art style wise, I'm totally really starting to dig this kind of definitely more like freehand kind of fun style. I mean, I feel like it enhances the emotions.
Yeah.
It makes the funnier moments funnier. It's like the emotions are more... Not a lot of people, you can tell how they're feeling emotionally on their face. There's a lot of people who aren't very...
You can just say me, okay.
Yeah. Full of expressions. I am the opposite. People know how I'm feeling, whatever that may be, all the time. And they normally see very dramatic expressions on my face, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm only like, if I'm watching a show and immersed, like I'm there. Like I'm doing everything like just, oh my god, but like instant. But like in real life, I'm always like quiet. I don't want to like bother anybody with like my feelings.
But if we were in this show, you would see all of our emotions on our faces.
Because it's drawn so well. I love it. I like the style. So I could be wrong here, so apologies if I am, but I had heard that Coach Yukai's voice actor had passed away or was no longer the voice actor for Coach Yukai in this season. And I think if that's the case, I think I can tell, but I don't think it's like, I think this voice actor is doing a great job.
I hadn't even thought about it. Like, it hadn't occurred to me. It didn't stand out as being a huge, massive difference. So if that is the case, then the voice actor did an amazing job at becoming the character and not doing anything that took me out of it for a second, being like, wait, what?
Exactly. I
that
feel
doesn't
it.
sound like him.
It feels like he's the character, and I think that's notable and awesome. I love this episode. I didn't want it to end.
I love that he was trying to make his hair flat. Like,
was he? Okay,
doing?
so was
I think he was trying to act like he looked like Kageyama because he said that he was quoting Kageyama here, saying, the setter's the most dominant role, it's the coolest. Taking us back to
So he was trying to
one.
like act like him and then like, ugh, I love it.
It feels like they were like years younger in season 1 when they had that interaction.
Right? It really does.
Like, why does it feel like they've been in school for 4 years? Like, 4 seasons, it's been 4 years.
Because in the short amount of time that they have had, they've developed as much as it would take me to develop over 7 years, you know? Like, it's amazing. Good.
Yep.
Good.
Good.
You good?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.